Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Showcase on Dark Souls 3. Trying to take it back a notch for the Talismans and go back to the original. I know I started with the canvas one, but I didn't feel like starting with the plain one. Why? Because I didn't have a plain one at the moment of the review, and I kind of forgot where to get it. But then I read, and I realized, oh, Handmaid sells it. And so now I have a Talisman. No matter, the order is not truly important. However, the description reads for the Talisman. Talisman for casting miracles of God. Once a very common item among the ranks of the old way of white. Once a very common? That bitch, the shrine sells them by the dozen. Anyway, equip the Talisman for a sake of trying to cast miracles. Miracles must be attuned to the bonfire for use. The skill is the unfaltering prayer. Temporarily increase poise while casting miracles to prevent enemy attacks from interrupting prayer. Works while equipped in either hand. But what they don't tell you is the FP to use that goes on top of the spell you're already using, making your spell slightly more expensive. So yes, this is pretty much the original, as we can see now that the canvas Talisman is a carbon copy, just more well refined. Alright, now visually, sorry for the grainy visual, but I really had to zoom in there because you can barely see that little thing. The little thing right there. You see its head poking out, and maybe a bit at the bottom. It's so tiny. It's so tiny, that's why it's not very powerful. I have now made this a sex joke. That's what it is now. It's a bad one at that. I don't apologize for anything. Bad jokes aside, let's move on to the stats. Now let's completely ignore the physicals, since it does not matter here. Let's go on to the spell buff. Now, for the spell buff, which natively has only 100 points, but it's 140 because of my skill with the Faith at 35. So yes, we got 140, which is not bad. It's not bad. Alright, on to the bonus. Well, you get E for strength, that's crap, and we got a B for faith. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm not sure if it really amounts to much, but in attribute requirements, we got 4 strength and 10 strength requirement. Same idea with the canvas Talisman. Why we need strength at all is a good question. But oh well. And we got the unfaltering prayer, which is 8 FP. Remember, that's 8 FP on top of whatever faith spell you're using in order to, to get that buff where you don't get interrupted. And the weight of weapons 5 or 0.5. Now, on to the animation, which isn't much. The basic attack, you got pretty much your spell. And then you use the backup, you can see in golden glow, meaning you have pretty much a good little bit of a temporary buff in terms of poise. And I used up all my magic. Now, on to the upgrade, where you'll need to use Titanite shards to upgrade the plain Talisman. On the first upgrade, you can see the true bonus for both strength and faith go up. Where strength goes to D and faith goes to an A. Again, I'm not sure if that really amounts to much in the end, but oh well. The buff for the spell goes up by 3 per upgrade, at least in the beginning. As we go along, it eventually gets smaller and smaller until you only get 1 point, as we see here. So yes, it's not bad. Pretty much just right under the canvas Talisman in terms of firepower at the final upgrade. Just right under. So the canvas Talisman is just a slightly better copy, but there's almost no difference. Okay, in terms of performance, we'll keep this nice and short, since there isn't really much to show here. The basic spell, by lightning spear there, you can see it only does that, but however, again, point blank, I do more damage. It's not the buff doing that, or it's not the special doing that, it's just my range. Hitting you both pretty much my point blank attack and making contact with the foe at the same time. So there's that little advantage there, getting in point blank. And Dark Moon Blade is not really needed, but oh well. It allows me to cut down these guys really quick. I do like my Dark Moon freaking Blade buff though. It's always awesome. Now, against the Gorgal, lightning spells don't exactly do too well. Even at point blank, I only do 70 more damage. And doing only 170, it's pretty on the low end. I'd much rather take a short bow and be like Robin Hood and just shoot a dozen arrows at it. So yeah, it's not too effective. So I'll just finish off the fight with the Dark Moon Blade. Now, of course with that buff, you can get through an opponent very quickly and very easily. With that out of the way, let's go on to the Dark Knight. Or the Black Knight. The Black Knight is a little resistant to lightning, but it's beside the point. And you see here at a distance where I have the tension, he does guard. However, I can use the special to get him right close and hit him right in the face with 2 of my attacks with a lightning throw. But since that uses up a lot of my FP, I'll just use my Darkening Blade to finish him off. Since that's very powerful, makes any weapon powerful, to be honest. I think any weapon. Especially a longsword. Now, after comparing the damage values for the Talisman and the Canvas Talisman, it's very, very close to the point where there's almost no difference. Kind of like the Heretic Staff. But oh well. Now, let's go on to the pros and cons of the Talisman. Now, on the pros, well, it's kind of all the same as the Friendly Talisman. The special's handy. And that's pretty much it. Now, going on to the cons, well, to be honest, there are no true cons for these talismans. There is no real true con. Not compared to other weapons where they don't have any shortcomings. Now, going on to the score for the talisman, it's going to be the same as the Canvas Talisman, because if you looked at both videos side by side, you'd see that there's almost no difference in terms of damage. The buff gets 6 out of 10. The special gets 7 out of 10. The bonus gets 5 out of 10, and the miss gets 6 out of 10. All the same as the Canvas Talisman because they are almost identical. The Canvas Talisman has a 1% improvement. Makes you wonder why they even bothered doing that for both the Heretic Staff and the Canvas Talisman. Why'd they have created them? I don't know. But to wrap it up, the Talisman gets in total 24 out of 40, which is good. The same as the Canvas Talisman. There you go. Kept the video a little bit shorter than usual because of the nature of this weapon, and how little it improves, or I guess how the Canvas Talisman, I should say, did very little improvement upon this. So there wasn't that much need to really go into detail on a couple things, but no matter. Talismans are very handy, and the either or you use between this or the Canvas Talisman doesn't really matter. They're nearly identical. But anyway, that's been Showcase for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there.